Hey, what's up? This is Mike from Bubba the Wolf, and today we're going to be taking a look at a Jackson Pro Plus RR24. Alright, so I bought this guitar for the specs, so let's go over those right now. The Jackson Pro Plus RR24 features a neck-through body, bound Okumi body, Okumi, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. It's a flat top, no beveled edges. You might notice on other Rhodes models that the edges are beveled. Not with this one. It is bound. I like the body binding. I think that looks real nice. A Floyd Rose 1000 tremolo, direct mounted Seymour Duncan distortion pickups, both in the neck and in the bridge. One volume, one tone. I like that. On my RRXMG models, you have two volumes and one tone, and I'm not a fan of the two volume thing. We have an ebony fretboard, bound, reverse headstock, also bound, stainless steel frets. Those stainless steel frets really shine, and very nice and bright. Very beautiful guitar. On the back of the guitar we have plastic covers, not metal, unlike the Concept series I bought a couple years ago, which had metal back plates. This also has strap lock buttons. That's a nice feature. Nice clean black line here. The Concept series, at this joint here there was like a fade. The black faded into the neck. That was real nice, but this looks good too. It's nice and clean. The neck is maple with walnut, so that brown stripe going down there is walnut. Extremely beautiful guitar. Unfortunately, there's a lot of flaws. Last but not least, we have luminlay side dots, so they glow in the dark, I guess. Lots of nice features on this guitar. So the pros of this guitar, I love the neck profile. Nice and thin, it's got that classic Jackson neck profile, kind of thin and flat. I call it a D profile because it looks like the letter D, a backwards D I guess. But just very comfortable, and when I pulled it out of the gig bag, it was kind of one of the first things I noticed was how nice the neck felt. I love all the specs of this guitar. That was the main reason why I bought it. That's why I went over the specs. The overall feel of this guitar, it feels great. It's a lightweight body, this Okumi, whatever, however you say it. Nice and lightweight, very comfortable when you put on a strap and play it standing up. No neck dive issues with this either. It does feel lightweight, but it doesn't feel like a toy like some of the JS models I've mentioned on. Overall, it's a beautiful guitar, man. It's a shame that it has so many flaws, which we'll get to in a moment. So, the cons of this guitar. Well, Jackson ships this guitar in a gig bag, but it's a flimsy piece of shit gig bag. And because it's a flimsy piece of shit gig bag, there's actually a chip on one of the tips of this guitar, which I'm going to get a close-up later when I go over the flaws, which there are a few. So first of all, that gig bag. I wish they didn't send this guitar in the gig bag, because the way this guitar was packaged was, this guitar was inside the gig bag. I already mentioned it was a shitty, flimsy gig bag, which is stupid, because why would you put a $1,500 guitar in a cheap, like $20 gig bag? That doesn't make sense. It was inside the gig bag. The gig bag was inside a box. There was no foam pieces guarding the tips. So that's what happens, man. When you put a pointy guitar in a cheap $20 gig bag and then throw it in a box, there was like, I mean, it was like kind of a form-fitted box, you know, so it shouldn't have slid around too much. It didn't slide around, but it just was not protected like other guitars I've purchased in that gig bag. Let's talk about the Jackson quality control here. There is a mark on the fretboard, the 13th fret. I'll get a close-up on the camera. At first I thought it was just like a surface blemish, but it's not. It actually has like, it's like a very light gouge or an abrasion. There's a texture and a feel on the wood here. I'll get a close-up and show you, but I didn't like that. The second thing was the chip on this tip here. Now it's on the back side, which I might have lived with if that was the only thing that was wrong with it. If it didn't have this flaw in the fretboard, and there's also a tiny crack in the binding on the same tip here on the front. I'll try to get a close-up of that with the camera too. It's a tiny crack, it's a hairline crack, I admit it. But with those three things, I'm a little upset with the quality control because this is a Pro Plus model, so I feel like it's got all these nice specs, like all these top line, top tier specs, but then the quality control does not align with the top tier specs. The quality control is pretty poor. So you have all these nice features, but then, you know, there's a mark in the fretboard, there's a chip in the finish, there's a crack in the binding. Not cool, Jackson. You need to do a better job with the quality control there. Okay, some things that I wish were different. There's only one thing I'm going to say here. I wish they would not have put a Seymour Duncan distortion set in here. I have nothing against the Seymour Duncan distortion set. I have a set of Seymour Duncan distortions in the Kelly behind me. It's a great sounding pickup. I like the pickup, but my wish would be like, hey Jackson, you know, it's 2024. Why not put something like newer, something more modern, like a set of Sentient Nazgul or Black Winters, Sentient Nazgul or Black Winter set would be awesome. Fishman Fluence, you know, some DiMarzios, just something newer. Like, there's nothing wrong with these pickups. They sound great. But again, like, it's a modern metal guitar. Throw in some modern pickups. Okay, final thoughts here. This is a very nice guitar in terms of specs, and the feel of it, it feels great. If it didn't have the quality control issues, I'd be keeping this. So I don't know if I can recommend it to you. If you're the type of person that is into buying guitars, sending back until you get a good one, then I would say, yeah, go for it. But I'm not that type of person. I don't like playing the back and forth game. So I bought this. I'm sending it back. I'm not going to be ordering another one. If one of these pops up like on the used market and I can go and check it out for myself before buying, I would buy one of these. I would definitely be updating these pickups though. I'd be putting something different in them. Alright, so I want to get a close-up of this flaw here on the 13th fret. Let's see if I can get it with the camera. Okay, there it is. Now it just looks like dust, but it's not. There's an actual texture to this. It's like I said, it is lightly abrased, like something rough hit the fretboard, like some sandpaper or maybe like a warm drill bit. I don't know. I have no idea, but there's an actual texture to that. Let's take a look at the binding crack. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up. It's very small. There it is. Very light hairline crack. That might be from the shitty ass gig bag that they sent this in. And finally, let's get a look at that chip. Okay, again, it's a very small chip, but it's there, and you can definitely feel it. You see that? It's about the size of a pinhead. Now, it's not that big of a deal. If this was the only thing that was wrong with it, I'd probably be keeping it. But I'm a little disappointed with mostly the fretboard, but also the crack in the binding and this little chip. Sending it back. Alright, here are three fretboards I wanted to compare. In the middle is the RR24 Pro Plus with an actual ebony fretboard. And on the right is my JS32 Warrior with an amaranth fretboard. And then on the left is my Kelly Performer with a rosewood fretboard that I stained black. So I'm going to get some close-ups here. Now the ebony compared to the amaranth, I think the amaranth actually looks a little darker. So if you're going for dark, like black, hey man, maybe consider one of these JS32 models. Maybe you could part together your own guitar. And then let's compare the rosewood, the stained black rosewood. This is the most recent job I've done. I'm very happy with this one. I'm going to be doing another video on how I did it because I got really good results, I think. Actually, it looks a little closer to the ebony. Let's see here. That's the ebony. And that's the stained black rosewood. Okay, one thing I noticed as I was packaging this guitar up, getting ready to send it back, putting it inside the gig bag was actually kind of difficult. You can actually feel, and probably even see, the top bout, the bass side point. It's pushing against the edge of this gig bag. This guitar is too big for this gig bag. This gig bag is too small. You can actually see the form of the guitar pushing against this seam here. You can look, you can actually see the zippers flexing against the point because this gig bag is too small for this guitar. The headstock point, the other thing is it doesn't have a double zipper. It only has one single zipper. So it's not like you can zip from both sides and sort of meet in the middle. This is just a cheap, I mean, this is a piece of shit gig bag, and they sent a $1,500 guitar in it, and it doesn't even fit. It's unbelievable. I feel bad even sending this back in this gig bag because it's probably going to get damaged on the way back too. But, you know, Jackson, it's your own damn stupid fault.